This is PowerGrind Boxing, where we're dedicated to the great sport of boxing. I want you to subscribe right now for a jab of boxing news from around the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? I give you special commentary and entertainment, but my focus is on honoring those of the past and the present who've made a positive contribution on this great sport of boxing. This is Quick Jab, and right now we're getting ready to talk about Teofimo Lopez. Oh my goodness. Teofimo. You know, if I pronounce his name wrong, please excuse me. I do not mean to be disrespectful. I think he's a great individual at 140 right now. You know, he is definitely a formidable adversary for anyone. If you don't know, though, Teofimo Lopez, he just won a sketchy decision, split decision against Sandor Martin. You know what I'm saying? Now, Teofimo Lopez, right? He just won a split decision against Martin last night. Now, one of the things that he's definitely getting harshly criticized about is the fact that this was a 10-round, closely contested bout, but he's getting criticized because he was in a conversation after the match. And he was speaking with his father in a private one-on-one type of conversation. Of course, he had a couple of other individuals, and he had something that everyone has. He had doubt. And that doubt crept into his mind to the point where he spoke out and he said, he asked a question. He said, "Hey, do I still got it?" Woo! When I tell you, Teofimo Lopez right now is going through it in his mind. He's going through it. Now, I mentioned that, but what I want to talk about is Teofimo Lopez and Sandor Martin. This bout from round 1 all the way to round 10 was very, very close. Now, I looked at the match. The match, but I've only viewed it one time. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you from the mind of an individual that remembered the match because it happened, last night. So it happened last night. So I'm speaking to you right now, but I'm just talking to you from my memory. I didn't go back and watch the fight over. I just have it in my mind. So I may say something happened in this round, but it really happened in that round. Or I may say something happened in this round and it really happened in that round. But Sandor Martin, right? He fought Teofimo Lopez. And I want to say that in the first round, he got a knockdown. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say, man. Was it the first round? No, you know what? No, the first round when Sandor Martin and Teofimo Lopez were fighting, it was like a really competitive round. It was just like you didn't know who, you could just tell that Teo was awkward and he was nervous, and you could tell that Martin, he just had this step back. He was like being a little sharp. You got what I'm saying? So that first round was that fill out round. So I don't really be counting that round, but I would have said if I had to say who won the first round, I would have gave that round to Martin. I wouldn't have gave it to Teofimo Lopez because Teo he didn't really connect. He really didn't connect. Martin he was more crisp. He was sharper in the first round. Yeah. Okay, so then in the second round, that's when Teo got dropped. He got dropped with I don't know if that was a check? It was a check hook. I think it was a right hand though. Yeah, that's what I want to say. I think it was a right hand. Yeah. I want to say it was a right hand, but like I said, I'm just going off of my memory or whatever. But boom, Teofimo Second round, I thought he lost. He got one of those, I thought he lost. You know what I'm saying? Well, sorry. It's not that I thought he lost. He actually did lose because Martin had a knockdown. He scored a knockdown. Okay, so now 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought I may have given Teo maybe round 4. And was close round 5. It was just so close. You know what I'm saying? But 3, 4, and 5. You may have scored 1 or 2 for Teo, but it's no way you thought he won. He just did not. He didn't edge those rounds out so much where it was like, oh yeah, Teo good. And then in the 7th round, listen, in the 7th round, Martin hit TEOFIMO with another check hook. Now, what they said is that when he hit him with that hook, that he cupped Teo's head. I did not see, that's what ESPN said, but I didn't see him cupping his head. I don't feel like he cupped his head. I really don't. I wish we had an instant replay. We could have played that back and said, no, I thought it was a clean knockdown. I really did. I thought it was a clean knockdown. I have to go back and view it again, but I thought it was a very clean knockdown. So I think that Martin scored a knockdown in the 2nd round and in the 7th round. That's just what I think. You know, and nothing is going to convince me. Now, of course, I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But like I said, 2nd round, Martin. 7th round, Martin. I thought those were 2 knockdowns. Without a question. Now, in the 7th round, the judge scored it as a slip. Now, round 8, round 9, I would have scored for Martin. I felt like it was close. Yes, it was close, but I thought Martin did enough to edge that out. Neither one of them. Anyway, so now we get to round 10. Now, round 10. TEOFIMO Lopez father knows that Teo is losing, or he strongly feels, he says on camera, hey, they're going to steal this fight from us. Look, Teo was so aggravated and so frustrated. His dad giving him specific instructions, even instructed him in the 10th round, right before the 10th round on the break, to sit down. Teo he's so angry. He's so frustrated. He's still standing up. He won't even sit down. He not on no level was Teo even listening to his dad. His dad was giving him sound instructions, and Teo refused to listen. Now, I saw Teo when he got the loss against George Kambosos. His dad didn't really give him instructions, and I was like, yo, he need another coach. He need to get that dad out of here. You got what I'm saying? Because his dad ain't looking in the best interest. You can't coach your man like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you got to give them specific instructions. This time against Martin, TEOFIMO father gave him specific instructions. And Teo went out there and he completely ignored the specific instructions that his father rendered to him. Completely ignored. Didn't even listen to him on any level. Now, it was very close and competitive. That 10th round as well, right? So now they get to the end of the round. Round 10 is over. Look, man, about 12 seconds before the 10th round was over, I don't know what the hell is wrong with Martin, but he started showboating. He started like running in place. He started doing just stuff that you should never do in a close fight, which is just act like you just got it. TEOFIMO was the aggressor all night. The goal and the objective of boxing is to hit and not get hit. So if you're chasing a person all around the ring. Because sometimes in the gym, you may get ready to, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we normally box, right? So now I may be in the ring with someone, and it may not be their day. They didn't communicate that to me, but they may not feel right that day, but they in there just going through the motions, right? So now they might try to get on their bike. You know what I'm saying? So if they get on their bike and try not to engage, then it's my job as an individual and a sound technical boxer. It's my job to start cutting the ring off. You got me? And not let them be elusive, and not let them be slick, and not let them, get things and be able to prevent them from switching angles to switch me around so that they can evade or egress. You got what I'm saying? So I got to start cutting off the ring. That's the goal. Because now I understand the goal, like I said, is to hit and not get hit. So as opposition, what I have to do is I have to cut the ring off so that I don't give you a way out. You know what I'm saying? I got to put you in that phone booth. You know what I mean? And we got to do what we got to do. All night, Teo was the aggressor. However, Martin was more elusive, and he was able to, at times, spin Teo. He was able to consistently evade the punches of Teofimo. And he had this step back, and he had a herky-jerky type of awkward style, and it seemed to confuse Teofimo Lopez because he wanted to consistently engage with Martin. Another thing that I noticed is that since Teofimo was being the aggressor, he didn't work a jab. It seems as if he was just rushing the same thing he did with George Kambosos. He kept rushing in, and he was not being technically savvy. He was not being defensively responsible. He just kept rushing in. And I was just wondering in my mind, I'm like, man, why is he rushing everything? Why is he just trying to move? But then I started thinking, Teofimo Lopez made this Heisman night of boxing, he made it popular. So the whole reason there's a Heisman night of boxing is because of Teofimo Lopez. So he's dealing with the expectation of great performance. So since he's mentally dealing with this expectation of this great performance, he hyping himself up. He's overhyping himself up. Then he wasn't listening to his corner. You got what I'm saying? He got all these expectations, all these eyes on him, and he just did not perform to his expectations. And in my opinion, he lost. I think that both of those knockdowns should have been counted. And I don't know how a judge had things the way they had. Now, what I mean by that is that once the decision was rendered, it was a split decision. One had it for Martin, one had it for Teo, and then this other one had it for Teo, and that margin was so great that it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It just was completely ridiculous. Listen, I think they did boxing an injustice by allowing this judge to say that Martin did not do as good as he did. I feel very sorry, and my heart goes out to Martin because this was supposed to be his moment. Unfortunately, this moment was taken from him. He did an excellent job of hitting and not getting hit. Now, one of the things that Teofimo and his dad did say is that he was running. And hey, look, man, you come up in the amateurs. You have been a champion before. There's no such thing as running in boxing. Now, if I'm the aggressor and I have opposition and my opposition is evading me, if he's hitting me and not allowing me to hit him, then I got to cut the ring off. I have to trap this individual. I got to trap him. He a mouse. So I got to put him in the mouse trap. And then I got to get that work on. You know what I'm saying? I got to get my work on once I trap him. That's the name of the game, to hit and not get hit. I thought Martin did a good job of hitting and not getting hit. However, for my personal preference, if you want to be viewed as a formidable adversary and a great champion, and one of the things that you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to engage. You're going to have to engage, and it's going to have to be punches and bunches if you are going to evade. If you're going to be hitting and not getting hit, then when you do engage, it can't just be a 1-2. It can't be a 1. It can't be a 2. No, if you're going to engage, you have to engage, because listen, boxing is a sport and it is entertainment. It is sports entertainment. Sports and entertainment, they go hand in hand. So it has to be an entertaining bout. He was more defensive. He was less offensive than I would have preferred. Now, this is what I will say. Teofimo Lopez and Sandor Martin, they had a head clash. And I want to say this happened in round number 1. So in round number 1, Teofimo Lopez head crashed into the nose, and it looked like some of this part of Martin's face. And it made Martin have to breathe out of his mouth. So I'm thinking that Martin's nose was broken by a headbutt from Teofimo Lopez in round 1. So now this happened in round 1. Headbutt from Teofimo Lopez. Now, since both of these guys are southpaw, you know that happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were stepping on each other's feet a lot of the night. You know what I'm saying? But it just looked very different when Teo headbutted Martin. His face got busted up. His nose was bleeding heavy. And their cut man, Martin's cut man, did an excellent job all 10 rounds, man. Oh my God. I couldn't believe. I thought they were going to stop it. As soon as I saw that headbutt and I saw his nose bleeding, how it was bleeding, I was like, oh, they getting ready to stop this. It's getting ready. It's going to be a no contest, because I thought his nose was bleeding so much. But I'm telling you, that cut man did an excellent job. When I tell you, I bring that up to say, maybe this is just conspiracy brain, but maybe Martin didn't engage Teofimo Lopez how he needed to engage Teofimo Lopez, which was aggressively and giving the fans an entertainment bout, because Teofimo had headbutted him in the nose and under the face. I mean, in his face. So maybe that's the reason why he just was, because listen, from round 2 to round 10, most of the times he had his mouth open. And that is a number 1 indicator. And if you looked at him when he went to the corner of the ring, when the bout stopped, every single time he never blew out his nose. He just kept having to breathe out his mouth. So a lot of times that's what happens when you get your nose broke. So you get your nose broke. If you try to breathe out of your nose, like you try to blow it out your nose, hey, it'll cause you to swell up. So all this will start swelling up. You will be messed up. You got what I'm saying? So he kept breathing out his mouth all night. That's what I noticed. Now, another thing that I noticed is that Martin just did an excellent job of outboxing Teofimo Lopez. He just outboxed him. Now, listen, people can say he got on his bike all they want. They can say he ran all they want, but he was outboxing Teofimo Lopez. It seems like as if Teofimo Lopez forgot the basics or the fundamentals of boxing, and it seemed as if Martin, who was injured all the rounds, every round got hurt and injured from a headbutt in round number 1, still dropped T.O. in round number 2, still dropped him in round number 7. Listen, he did such a great performance that at the end, when they announced him as the winner, and Martin was not okay with that, then Teofimo Lopez, and look, before they announced the winner, T.O., he was looking nervous. He was like this. He was looking nervous. Martin was like, yeah, I got this. Woo! Look, Martin was happy. He was excited. He knew he won. He just knew it. You know, like I said, he was showboating the last like 12 seconds of the fight between him and T.O. He was doing all kind of crazy stuff that he should have never been doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it really did make him look like, man, what you doing, man? What are you doing? But like I said, Teofimo still pulled the victory off with the judges. But like I said, Teofimo at the end of the bout, after Teofimo was the announced winner, guess what? Martin was like, nah, man, I won that. I'm angry. T.O. started arguing with the guy, talking about, oh, you running. And every time I try to engage you, I had the most effective punches and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? But Teofimo didn't look like a person that thought he won. It seems as if he got gifted a decision and he was happy with that gifted decision. Now, like I said, when the cameras was off, Teofimo Lopez started questioning whether or not he still had it. Now, a person that dominates and a person that wins by split decision, he's not the person that's going to be questioning if he still got it. It just wouldn't make sense if he was questioning, like, oh, do I still got it? It seems as if even just the look on his face before they announced that he was the person that won, he looked like, dog, I completely lost. He had defeat written all in his face, but hey, it went to the judges. If you want to win, this is for Sandor Martin. If you want to win, then you cannot leave it up to the judges. You angry at see, I can play both sides of this. I thought that Martin won because I thought that Teofimo got put down 2 times. According to the official record, he only got put down 1 time, and boxing is won round by round. I will say that Martin, my only guidance and my only, suggestion is that, look, if you want to win, then don't leave it up to the judges, because you cannot depend on the judges to get everything right. They are human. They're just people. So if you want to get it done, you got to do it yourself. You can't let someone else make a decision for you. You got to do it yourself. And this is for everyone who actively boxes right now, who wants to be a professional boxer. Listen, I don't care if you in the amateurs and you only doing 3 rounds. I don't care if you in the pros and you're doing 6 to 8 rounds. Listen, don't leave it in the hands of the judges, because they may not see things how you see things. They won't see things how I see things, because those judges didn't see things how I see things. And I took classes and courses on specifically how to score a boxing match. You got me? And they didn't see things how I saw things. So they didn't see things how I saw things, and they took the same training that I took. Then guess what? You cannot rely on the judges to give you the decision if you feel like you did more. You got what I'm saying? So don't leave it in the hands of the judges. That's just how it is. That's my thoughts on that situation. But Teofimo Lopez, he didn't look good. And on social media, Ryan Garcia said, hey, man, you lost. And before they made a decision that he would win by split decision, Ryan was like, yo, he lost unless the judges were going to give it to him. Devin Haney on Twitter said, man, this guy ass is grass. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted another thing that Devin Haney said, man, shout out to Devin Haney, is that Devin Haney said that ever since he lost to George Kambosos, he just has never been the same. And I will say that is the truth. Some of the things that he even says, you can just tell that his mind is kind of all over the place and that he don't got everything. He's not as focused as he need to be right now. Teofimo is going through a lot. He has went through a lot. And from this performance, he's going to continue to go through a lot. You got what I'm saying? One of the things that I did find interesting about Teofimo Lopez during the interview, one of the things that he said is that, hey, man, I'm not just boxing. Hey, you can, if you want my voice, I'm here to hire. You can hire me to do voiceovers. You can hire from me to do sports and entertainment, commentary, etc. He was basically selling himself like, hey, you can hire me to do other things. I'm not just a boxer. And a lot of times, if you're a boxer and you are not focused on boxing, then people will see that. And that is what people saw. They saw that Teofimo Lopez was not an individual that was totally committed to the sport of boxing. It showed on every single level. And hey, it is what it is. But look, that's my thoughts on Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that he did a really good job. He did a real poor performance. If I had to rate his performance, I would say I would give him a C. If I had to rate Martin, I would say for who he was as an individual, because I think he had like 43 victories or whatever. But look, I thought he did an excellent job of boxing Teofimo Lopez with the injury. He boxed through a broken nose. That's very, very difficult. It's very difficult to breathe. And if you can't breathe, then, you can't get your stamina is not right. And everything is just off. He had 3 weeks to prepare for Teofimo Lopez. And of course, Teofimo Lopez had 3 weeks as well to prepare for him. But I thought Sandor Martin did an excellent job. I did not think that Teofimo Lopez did a great job. I didn't think he did an excellent performance at all. I think he disappointed himself. He wanted, because he's the guy he made this Heisman boxing. He made it the thing. You know what I'm saying? But he did a very horrible job. And I think that Top Rank saw that he did not do a good job. I don't think they viewed his performance as being exemplary. And I think that his performance right now has cost him something in the future. You got what I'm saying? It costed him something in the future. I don't know exactly what it cost, but I know that it costed him something in the future. But look, if he getting, endorsements and doing this, that, and the third, I hope that, those stay. But I tell you this, people like champions that win in convincing fashion. That's one of the reasons why Canelo Alvarez gets a lot of the flack and the negative criticism that he gets, is because he's not facing stiff competition, and it seems like as if he's really selective. And then, of course, on his last couple of outings, he hasn't done as good as people wanted him to do. And a lot of times with public opinion and public perception, when you're not as good as people seeing you, because you're only as good as your last performance. So when people see you and you're not as good as that, then they feel some type of way, and that's how it is right now with Teofimo Lopez. I think that Sandor Martin, I think his stock has went up. I think people was like, oh man, I think Sandor Martin has made it where people are going to be like, I don't know if I want to fight him, because listen, during that, he got this great step back that makes it where you have to reset everything that you're trying to set up. Now, one of the things, Teofimo Lopez, he was not throwing combinations. He was not using his jab. He was not switching angles. He was not cutting off the ring. I'm just like, what in the world were you doing? I really don't know. But look, let me know what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? I was just really surprised. I'm telling you, I was so surprised. Now, T.O., he was just rushing everything. It looked like George Kambosos fight over. That's what it looked like to me. You know what I'm saying? What did you think of Teofimo Lopez's performance? Did you like his performance? What did you think about Sandor Martin's performance? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Like I said, don't leave it in the hands of the judges, and then things will be okay. Look, this is PowerGrind Boxing, courtesy of PowerGrind Sports. We're talking about the biggest names in sports and entertainment. I'm saying, I got to remind you, this is PowerGrind Boxing, and I got to tell you to stay on the grind. That's all I got, man. Peace.